Okay, so we are into August now. We're into the latter half of the year, and there are games coming out. That is no surprise. There are games coming out every goddamn day, which just makes our backlogs longer, and we've got too much stuff to play. But let's have a look at what we're going to be playing through August, shall we? Let us start with the PlayStation, shall we? On August 2, we have Atomic Heart Annihilation Instinct coming out. That is the first game of August, and it is a DLC to Atomic Heart, which was a very bad game. But if you enjoyed it, then good on you. There you go. You've got some more of it to look forward to. There we go. Um, on August 3, we've got Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, which I don't know much about. I must admit, I haven't heard about it, but the idea of a role-playing musical certainly has piqued my interest. I'm going to play this, I'm pretty sure. I
You know
don't
that
know.
used to be the chorus game, like that indie game from like Australia, wherever it is. That's what
What?
that is. Yeah,
Really?
this is the really hyped one. It just has a really shit name now because it like changed its name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
like
interested.
everyone is hyped for this game. This is like top AAA indie level hype for this one for everyone
No.
across the board. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Like I said, did not know anything about it, but definitely keen. Definitely keen. Just the concept, a role-playing musical, ticks all the boxes for me, so I will play it. On August 4, we have Slash, spelt badly. S Clash, SCLAS hash H Slash. It is a plug-and-play 2D samurai fighting game full of tension where one hit is enough to kill. So it's one of those kind of quirky fighting games, I guess, where you kind of square off against somebody and then whoever gets the first hit wins the round.
There's a lot of
And
them flying around.
yeah, there are quite a few of them in recent years. So who knows? Could be good. Samurai theme works for it, I guess. They were generally one hit kill kind of battles. On August 8, we have Gord. This is a single player adventure strategy game. You must survive in a dark fantasy world where you must develop your settlement, but to prevail, I'm trying to expand the little description here, it's not letting me. You must develop your settlement, but to prevail, you must conquer the darkness lurking behind the gates. That is certainly a game we've never heard of before. That is entirely original, and we haven't played it 70,000 times already. But let's not count Gord out. It may well be good, I guess. You can play it on August 8. On August 8 as well, you've got Tower Fantasy, which does sound more like my kind of thing. In Tower Fantasy, dwindling resources and a lack of energy have forced mankind to leave Earth and migrate to Ida, a lush and habitable alien world. There, they observed the comet Mara and discovered an unknown but powerful energy called Omnium contained in it. So they built the Omnium Tower to capture Mara, but due to the influence of Omnium radiation, a catastrophic disaster occurred on their new homeworld. Again, something we haven't played a million times before, I'm sure. But yeah. Oh,
I hate
this
how
is
cynical I am that I hear it and I immediately go, that sounds like this game and this game and this
yeah.
game.
This one's an MMO, so maybe I won't play it. But if you're into your MMOs, then there you go. Tower of Fantasy is coming out. On August 10, we've got Atlas Fallen, which is a AAA game, isn't it? That's by somebody. Somebody significant. Somebody significant has developed this game, and I do know about it. I can't remember who, but
Deck 13.
it's going to be one of
Deck
those
13.
Deck 13.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, in that case, I'm a little bit more interested actually, because Deck
Wait, who are those
13
guys?
are fairly talented little developers. They're Eurojank developers, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that kind of won't be AAA after all. It'll be one of those B tier RPGs that is actually quite creative and interesting and plays like crap, but that's okay. That's
I
what
was
I'm
going to say, the
saying.
title reminds me of Babylon's Fall, which is a very different game.
Yeah, that game was not good. On August 15, you've got Moving Out 2, which was a fun, it should be a sequel to a pretty fun little multiplayer co-op puzzle game that came out a couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
they're Australian too. SMG
yeah,
Studios.
yeah. So that was fun. The original moving out. I'm sure the next one will be fun too. Light-hearted, easygoing, kind of thing you play on the couch with a mate over a weekend and some beers and yeah, all that good stuff. On August 18, we've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out, which is here we another one of them, an asymmetrical horror experience based on the groundbreaking and iconic 1974 horror film. So Friday the 13th, but now Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because nobody can have an original idea in this industry.
They sold those.
In theory, I could enjoy a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game because I do enjoy the horror series, the property, and all that stuff. But I'm not going to play it if it's just Friday the 13th, but with a different skin. That's just pointless. On August 18, we've got Madden NFL 24. If you like your Maddens, then there you go. This year's one comes out. Who knows if it's going to be good? I don't know what, because EA is always in that kind of thing where they release 2 years in a row and they're not really worthwhile, and then the third year is actually pretty decent and moves the property forward. I don't know where they're at with this cycle at the moment, but if this year is the year that Madden NFL will get better, then that is August 18 that you can look forward to that. On August 22, we've got Immortals of Aveum, which is a groundbreaking new single-player first-person magic shooter. So, it's an EA game, published game. Made by the creators of Call of Duty and Dead Space, Immortals of Aveum is set in an original fantasy universe engulfing magic, rife with conflict, and on the verge of oblivion.
Oh, that's
So,
weird.
I don't
So
know, modern
skinning
Heretic?
they're doing a fantasy skin of a shooter.
Yeah, like Heretic, right? Or
Based
Hexen.
Call of Duty.
In theory, I would enjoy that. I quite enjoyed the fantasy shooters of yesteryear. I really enjoyed Hexen in particular. Hexen's one of my favorite
Yeah.
shooters. So if this game can channel that, then why not?
They haven't explored that territory in a very long time. But
No,
I'm
they
glad
haven't
they're
really.
moving away from like the ultra realistic military whatevers,
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of my problem with shooters is the military setting and the use of actual kind of military terms and conflicts, and even when they were made up conflict, it's still kind of realistic in that sense. So I don't have a problem with the kind of the gameplay of shooters, and the fantasy setting does remove it from that military setting. So I would, in theory, be interested in checking this one out, actually. On August 22, if you like your kart racing and Mario Kart isn't enough for you, then Smurfs Kart is coming out. I don't know. Sometimes these things can be fun. I enjoyed Chocobo Racing. The Garfield kart was actually decent. The last one was actually a decent
Yeah.
time. It was decent.
feel
I'm
like
not saying great, but
Developers are getting a good handle of how to make a good kart game. It's not like in the 90s and the 2000s where Mario Kart was the only good one. But Smurfs Kart, that's very funny.
There's something special about really bad kart racing games, though. So, like, if this is a bad kart racing game, that could be good.
If it's bad, it can be good.
No, like a really
I know what you mean,
janky
Trent.
yeah.
Yeah.
like-
If it's fun, it can be fun if it's not actually that great. I know what you mean. Moving on. August 24, we've got Ride 5. If you like your ultra realistic bike racing games, I can't stand these things because I always fall off the goddamn bike and can never race anywhere. But if you can, then there you go. Ride 5 comes out. On August 25, probably the biggest game, I guess, of the month comes out. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Now,
Oh, really?
yeah. So I'm looking forward to this, you see. For people who aren't aware of the history, Armored Core was From Software property before From Software became huge, before Dark Souls, before Demon Souls. They had Armored Core, and it was super niche. It was a game that a small number of people played and enjoyed, but those people that did play and enjoyed it absolutely loved the series. So I'm really interested to see what From Software post Souls does with it, because it could be, I mean, I don't know what kind of knowledge they'll bring to the development process and the kind of the idea of how to make games, how much different this one will be from what people remember of Armored Core, and whether people will be
Yeah.
on board with it. In theory, it should be very, very good. Like I'm imagining if From Software brings the quality that they did with, say, Elden Ring to Armored Core, then we're in for a very good time.
It's been like 20 years since an Armored Core game, though,
In a
hasn't it?
very long time, yeah. Like I said, before
Yeah.
Demon Souls, it was probably their major property before the Souls thing became their thing. So it has been a long time between drinks for Armored Core fans. On August 29, we've got Sea of Stars, which is a turn-based RPG inspired by the classics. So, yep, one of those retro-themed JRPGs.
Yeah. You might say it's an ocean of stars, a star ocean, maybe.
I wonder what was inspired. Wonder what's inspired them. But anyway, you're going to get turn-based combat, storytelling, exploration, and interactions with the environment. Of course, these things are so hit and miss. It could be terrible. It could be great. But if they're great, they tend to be very good. On August 29, we've got Agatha Christie, the newest one, the Hercule Poirot, the London case coming out. Now, these are okay. They're a decent enough time if you like your point-and-click puzzle games. Moving on. On August 29, we've got Rhapsody, Male Kingdom Chronicles coming out. Now, Rhapsody is a beloved property that had like one release, didn't it? Was there one, two?
Is this the musical adventure series?
Yes, it's actually a new one.
Really?
Yeah.
This is really the month of reviving an old franchise, isn't it?
Yeah. So the original Rhapsody was what, PlayStation 2, wasn't it? Or 1? 1? I don't know.
Around that era.
It was a long time ago. So yeah, this one will be one that people will watch, I imagine, pretty closely. On August 30, if you like your horror, you've got Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, which is a stupid name for a horror game. But there you go. Daymare has been, there's a couple of them now, isn't there? So this is the next one in that series. And that's pretty much it for PlayStation. Lots of games. I will just quickly mention, given that it is just early in September, but if you are saving your pennies and you're only going to buy one game, you may also want to save for Baldur's Gate 3. That comes out on September 3 on the PlayStation 5. That one is a 150-hour odd RPG. So if you just care about the contents, that's finally leaving early access on PC, and it's getting a full release on PlayStation as well. So if you are saving your money, if you're only going to buy one game and you do like your Western RPGs, you may want to hold out for September 3. Moving over to
play
this,
like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2?
in theory, I've got opinions about that. I'm sure we'll be talking about it at some point. Yeah, I have opinions. But yes, in theory, it is exactly like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, just by a different development studio. And yeah. So over on the Switch, on August 1, we've got Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed, a director's cut coming out. We did talk about that on the last podcast, but because it is out on August 1, the first day of the month. But there we go. That's kicking the month off with a JRPG, a very quirky and interesting one at that. On August, let's keep scrolling with the Switch. There's a lot of stuff coming out. On August 3, Stray Dogs, the role-playing musical, also comes out on Switch, so you can play it on the go if you want. We've got WrestleQuest coming out on August 8, which is pro wrestling and RPG fantasy collide in an ultimate pixel-powered adventure. That could be fun. Wrestling plus RPG. It could be fun. Who knows? On August 10, we've got Extreme Sports coming out, spelled with an X, but not, unfortunately, Dead or Alive Extreme. This one's like base jumping and rock climbing and stuff, I think. No, it's, yeah, bungee jumping and sky surfing and all those kinds of sports, which I would not imagine would translate well to video games. But then again, I am playing through Tour de France, and I would not have said Tour de France would work as a video game either, and yet it does. Moving Out 2 also comes out on Switch, which is great, on August 15. I'm still scrolling. There's just a lot of stuff coming out, but nothing particularly noteworthy on Switch at the moment for August. Norn 9 Last Era comes out on August 24, which is a sequel to a particularly good visual novel that has been kicking around since the PlayStation Vita, maybe even PSP. It is an otome, and it is one of probably one of the highest regarded otomes. So that is getting a sequel for people that enjoy the characters and want more of it. I look forward to that. Agatha Christie is also coming on Switch on August 29, and then we've got Samba de Amigo Party Central coming out on August 29.
Let's go.
That could be fun. I'm actually looking forward to that. You get 40 hit songs from around the world's most popular music, and you get to shake your maracas, which will be, yeah, that's not a euphemism. That's what you actually do. You shake
Yeah, you
maracas.
use your Joy-Cons as maracas and you shake as a rhythm game. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
remember when rhythm games used to have a peripheral all the time? Those Samba de Amigo, those Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, those like you'd get a new instrument per game and it'd always be just bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm so keen.
Yeah, that'll be good fun. Rhapsody also comes out on Switch on August 29, which is good because that does seem like a game I would rather play on the go. And on August 31, we've got Taito Milestones 2, which is 10 classic Taito arcade games from yesteryear, not Space Invaders. They did do other things. This one has the New Zealand story in it, I think. So that's a pretty classic old arcade platformer. You can enjoy that
You
on
say
August
the New
31.
Zealand story?
New Zealand story, yeah. You've never
What?
played it?
No.
You
What
should
is
play
it
it. It's
about?
great. It's great. It's an arcade. How do you not know this game? It's an
I've
arcade
never heard of
classic.
it.
It's great.
It's like Toki Tori, but like an
A
RPG.
Kiwi? What?
It's not an RPG. It's a platformer.
Oh, same
It's a-
difference.
It's a platform. Okay. Okay.
It's a classic arcade play. How do you not know this game, Harvard?
Never heard of it.
Right,
I don't know
you are
much about
playing. You are playing
I don't know
Taito
much about
Milestones soon.
arcade games.
Well, I'm going to have to educate you.
Even had a DS game, which was like a remake. I remember playing that through
I-
my means, and that was a fun game.
I can't
The
believe you
New
don't know
Zealand
this game.
story.
Yes, New Zealand story.
New Zealand story.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely check it out, Harvard. It's great. I loved it as a kid. So I should also mention that that is kind of the end of the August releases of Switch. But because we are recording this thing so early, there is probably a bunch of games that we just don't know about yet. In the course of the month with the Switch, stuff gets announced all the time. We don't have a Nintendo game for August, but I'm sure Nintendo has something that they will announce soon enough that will come out in August. So yes, plenty to look forward to, I am sure. So, Harvard, what's your pick of? You've already picked Taito Milestones. I picked it for you.
I will probably play Taito Milestones. I
Yes.
love the little arcade collections on the Switch. I have so many of them, and they're all so good.
Yeah, I mean, the arcade classics thing on the Switch has been a great initiative by Hamster because they release a new one basically every week, and you don't buy them all, obviously, but you do end up with a good pile of them just by picking them up when they are interesting. They do seem interesting to you, and I've played a bunch of arcade games that I didn't know about thanks to
Yeah, they
that
really
initiative.
hold up too.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
If
And
anything, they're better now that you can insert a coin whatever you want, compared to I'm imagining in the arcades where you had to like save up your money to try and beat a game.
yeah, and because you can get the arcade sticks for the Switch, you can play them in a very kind of authentic way, which is great. I like arcade games. I do enjoy them a lot, and preserving the kind of more obscure ones, which is what Hamster has done, has been a good thing, a very good thing. So, Trent, what's your pick of the month? What will you be playing?
I'm gonna probably be playing Stray Gods, but I don't remember what I backed it on, so it's probably gonna be on PC, and I don't really have a PC, so I'm probably gonna be like playing. I did pick up a Final Fantasy, so I haven't started playing that yet, so I'll probably start playing that by the time August comes around. So
What, Final Fantasy 16?
yes,
Nice.
and I've also still got Story of Caesars to play. I've got both those games, just haven't played them yet.
Wonderful
And then also
life.
Pikmin comes out in July, so I've also got that to play. So
That is true. Pikmin comes out between the time we record this and August, and which means I can talk about it, which is great, without breaking embargo because nobody's going to know until. I've been playing Pikmin 4. It's great. It's excellent. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it, Trent.
yes, great.
For me, what am I going to pick? I will probably go with Armored Core. Yeah, Armored Core. I am intrigued by the premise of it. I am one
Do
of
you play
the
the older games?
yeah, I'm one of the fans of the older games. Not all of them. I did play the Armored Core 5, which was the obviously the last one that they released, which was a PlayStation 2 game, and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really, really keen to see what the new and much more experienced and much higher profile From Software can do with Armored Core, because it always had a lot of potential, but it was held back by the fact that the developer just didn't have any money to work with to make these kinds of big visions. I mean, if you remember, a lot of people listening to this podcast, and probably both of you don't, but Kingsfield was kind of their RPG property before Dark Souls. And the difference between Kingsfield and Dark Souls is pretty massive. So if they can do that again with Armored Core, then they could be in for just something that blows people's minds. So yeah, that's my pick.
I just want Lost Kingdoms. Reboot that franchise.
Yes, they're not going to do it, Trent, unfortunately, but it would be nice if they did.